Welcome to Mornings with Ken Rosato. Today is Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Please excuse the fact that I am in the throes of the worst upper respiratory infection ever. I know it sounds just like a boy would whine about, right? Women would never whine about this. Men always. Just getting over a little cold. Excuse it. It sounds much worse than it is. Anyway, we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. To kick things off, meteorologist Mike Favetta, whose voice sounds much better.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, I'm channeling my inner Brenda Vaccaro right now, trying to do that. So we have another scorcher in LA and another cold one
Yes,
in New Jersey. It's cold.
it is very chilly, and it stays chilly throughout the rest of this week. Temperatures this morning feel like they're down in the teens and 20s. With all of the cold weather around, at least it's sunny across the state. Lots of clear sky working its way through. After a very dry day yesterday, it was very pleasant, but out to the desert southwest we go with all of this heat providing more records, triple-digit heat down in the desert. Very unusual for the end of March, certainly. This is today. Look what happens by tomorrow when this heat even spreads further east into Texas and Oklahoma. Records likely being set there all the way up into portions of Idaho. So very, very warm weather. That large area of high pressure keeping that part of the country dry and hot. However, here in the east, we stay pretty chilly. Really nothing going on otherwise in terms of storms across the country. It does keep the weather very quiet, and that'll be the case going into the next few days, even as we look forward to the dry weather again tomorrow. Maybe a few more degrees added to the picture by Thursday and Friday, a few sprinkles down the shore, but Friday afternoon into Friday night as our next round of wet weather that comes in, and that will likely give us some damp conditions on the roads by Saturday morning, all clearing by later on Saturday afternoon. We'll tell you more about the rest of the weekend's weather coming up with a full check of your forecast, Ken, in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It is already, by the way, when you look at Los Angeles, 80 degrees. Let me refresh that. Let me see if that's possible that it is 80 degrees at this time, because that to me sounds like it hasn't refreshed. No, it's not, it wasn't refreshed. Okay. All right. Still warm though. 65 degrees in Los Angeles. That's still pretty darn warm. Looking at the temperature in Trenton, it is 24. So look at that disparity. It's also 28 degrees northern New Jersey. So 24 hours ago at this time, just to give you an idea, looking back 24 hours ago, both Trenton and Los Angeles were 58 degrees. Now Trenton is 24 degrees and Los Angeles is 65 degrees. What a difference a day makes. That's absolutely amazing. We look at the traffic, and right now we have a malfunctioning traffic light on Route 29, and that is in Trenton. Speaking of Trenton, that is, of course, impacting traffic downtown even at this early hour. We are right in the thrust of, or in the thick, if you will, of morning drive. So it's a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 29 by Sullivan Way in Trenton. All lanes are open, but of course the intersection is backed up, so you should just beware as you make your way through there. On 206 in Princeton, we have a down pole. This has been the case since yesterday, so they're asking everybody just to avoid that area, that intersection on 206. And this is by Quaker Road in Princeton. All lanes are closed. We have a problem right now on US 1, a down pole northbound, north of Lafayette Avenue in Woodbridge. Right lane and right shoulder are closed. And now we look at the Hudson River crossings. Lincoln Tunnel is not too bad yet. Right now it's about 25 minutes in. The Holland Tunnel is going to cost you about 20. And the GWB upper and lower levels already heavy. Look at that. Upper on the right, lower on the left. That's going to be 35 to 40, even at this early hour. That's just the way it is as you try to make your way across into Manhattan. We look at Los Angeles traffic. We already have issues there, and it's only 4:04 in the morning. Right now on the I-5, we have a traffic collision, unknown injuries in Newhall. And then over in central LA, there's a collision by the 110 and the Avenue 43 off ramp. We also have a collision in Baldwin Park at the 210. And that, yeah, just says the 210 right now. And we have a traffic collision in South LA, and that is on the 405 at Lakewood Boulevard off ramp. Iran is looking to move its FIFA World Cup matches from the United States to Mexico. Iranian officials say the request is due to safety concerns for players and staff. The move follows comments from President Trump questioning the team's safety in the U.S., but it's more than likely because Iranian athletes have recently tried to defect to Western countries where they've traveled to compete. This recently happened in Australia. Iran is currently scheduled to play group matches in Inglewood, California, and in Seattle, Washington. Well, Joe Kent has resigned as director of the National Counterterrorism Center. Kent said that he opposes the war with Iran and urged the president to, quote, reverse course, referring to this as a never ending war. The fact of the matter is the Iran conflict is only 2 weeks old. Kent, by the way, 6 months ago, as recently as 6 months ago on his Twitter X account, had posted that Iran poses an existential and immediate threat. So somebody got to him. Somebody urged him to change course because how do you have Iran being an existential threat? That's what he wrote 8 months ago on Twitter. Fast forward, all of a sudden, we did the wrong thing. It's not an existential threat. It posed no threat. Well, if that's true, then this guy is the worst counterterrorism expert on the planet. Because why weren't you telling us that 8 months ago? Now that we've invaded, now you change your mind? Kent argued that Iran posed no immediate threat to the U.S. and blamed pressure from Israel and political allies for pushing the conflict. The problem also is U.S. and Israeli intelligence have shown that Iran was just 1 week away from finalizing uranium enrichment, enough to produce 11 bombs that could have been launched on Iranian missiles and sent up to 1,600 miles away, enough to strike most of Europe. Something to consider. It is now 7:07 East Coast, 4:07 West. At least 7 people in 3 states have been sickened by an E. coli outbreak. Investigators linked the cases to cheddar cheese from a place called Raw Farm. Most of the illnesses were reported in California, with others in Florida and Texas. 2 people were hospitalized. Several cases involved young children. The FDA urged the company to proactively recall their products, but they said, nope, they're not going to do it. So now expect the government to intervene. The Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. will close for 2 years after this year's July 4th celebrations of the nation's 250th anniversary. The shutdown needed for major repairs and renovations. Since the building was built in the 1970s, it has not undergone serious renovations. The board also named Matt Flocka as the CEO and executive director. He will replace Richard Grinnell, who stepped down from the leadership role. By the way, we should note that one of the reasons why many former presidents, both Republican and Democrat, have not done anything to renovate the Kennedy Center, and much of that is likely because of the cost. It would cost probably upwards of $100 million to update that building. It's a beautiful building in it today, but let's face it, it's a little dated. The president, President Trump, has gotten a number of his friends to donate money to have this done so it doesn't cost the government money. And that's gotten a lot of the artiste community very upset because they hate Trump in any way. And the fact that not only will he give them the center that they love, all redone and pretty, but he's going to do it without costing the taxpayer anything, that really double and triple pisses them off. So it's like, look, to the members on the left, you say, just sit back. You're going to have a beautiful new Kennedy Center. President Trump only has 3 more years in office. If you hate him, wait 3 years. You'll have your own president and you'll have a brand new Kennedy Center to celebrate. But to go crazy because the orange man bad president that you can't stand is doing this, you know what? He does construction for a living. So let him and his team give us a new Kennedy Center. If it looks ugly afterward, we'll raise money. We'll do it again. But the fact is, it's going to be done by donations. So just be patient. An activist federal judge has blocked vaccine policy changes advised by Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. The ruling temporarily prevents reducing the recommended number of mandatory childhood vaccines from 17 to 11. He's not saying you can't or absolutely must not have all those childhood vaccines. He's just saying that the federal government is not officially recommending it. You can go ahead and do it if you want, but they're not recommending it. The judge also suspended Kennedy's appointments to a vaccine advisory panel, but that is his job. his job, as authorized by the United States Senate, is to do just that, to appoint panels. That's one of the things he does. So, who is this judge? It's pretty amazing considering the U.S. Senate did approve Kennedy before. By the way, never before has a judge tried to supersede the authority of a duly authorized cabinet secretary like that in terms of the minutia of what they do. Think about it. No judge had a problem with previous secretaries of Health and Human Services when they wanted to add mandatory vaccines, telling you that you have to inject this into your infant. Nobody had a word. Nobody had a problem with that. Okay, I'll just inject 600 other chemicals into my baby that I have no idea about. No one said a word. But when one wants not to make them illegal, but to just make a few of the 17 optional, a federal judge who is not an MD issues a block. Well, the American Academy of Pediatrics sued over Kennedy's proposed changes because they weren't consulted. But there are other medical groups, such as the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons, who fully support Kennedy's actions. Health and Human Services will appeal to a higher court. They will likely be successful, as an activist judge has no authority to control a federal agency that is headed by someone approved by the U.S. Senate. By the way, Judge Brian E. Murphy was appointed by former President Joe Biden. He was only approved by the Senate a few days before the Biden administration left. So that tells you a lot. By the way, have you done your taxes yet? A new report shows at least 29% of all Americans delay filing their taxes, and 22% say they don't feel prepared for tax season. The biggest reasons include stress in their lives, complexity of their taxes, and fear of owing money. Around 21% plan to use AI tools to help file. And the good news, if you live in New Jersey, listen, California people, if you live in New Jersey, likelihood is that you did not procrastinate. New Jersey people tend to be among the first in the whole nation to get their taxes filed. Celebration for Paralympic Team USA as they finished second in the medal count at Milano Cortina. The folks from China finished first with the most medals. The U.S. sled hockey team won its fifth straight gold medal. Star athlete Oksana Masters added 5 medals to her career total. American athletes earned 24 medals overall, including 13 goals. Congratulations, you make us proud. 13 minutes past the hour. When we return, we speak with a member of the New Jersey Hall of Fame, a trailblazer in the world of women's track and field. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full forecast, and we will take your calls, 888-658-0234. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2 minutes. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato for your Wednesday. We are live in New Jersey and New York, and now we are live also in Los Angeles and San Diego. It is good to be with you. Ken Rosato here. And at 15 minutes past the hour, we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has a forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right. So just to say, 24 hours ago, both Los
Hmm.
Angeles and Trenton were at 58 degrees. That was
That's
24
right.
hours ago. Right now, Los Angeles is at 66 degrees and Trenton is at 24 degrees. Talk about a disparity. But if that doesn't define weather fronts, I don't know what can.
It's all about the jet stream. On a week like this week, we have big changes in the jet stream, and that's coming up next to show you just how big of a difference there is between the East Coast and the West Coast. We start out now, West Coast, look at all of that sinking air. You see these clouds kind of moving to the south, and then with that, all of the clouds moving east, and with the big changes in the weather pattern promoting that cold weather over the next several days. You can even see some snow off to our west. We tap into a little bit of rain late Friday night. That front comes in, providing a little bit of wet weather early Saturday morning. But the rest of the day, Saturday is dry, even though a bit cloudy, even lasting into Monday with some clearing occurring until not until Tuesday. So take some time to get that sunshine back around here, even though with the chill returning again today, we'll have temperatures 15 degrees below average going across most of the East Coast and interior back across the Midwest with that cold weather setting up, even going right down to Florida. You head west, and it is very warm, unusually hot, with nothing but clear sky for thousands of miles. It's a big high pressure system that keeps the West Coast rather hot and dry through the rest of this week, and it only gets hotter into the weekend. More details on that, Ken, coming up in the next weather update.
All right, sir, you caught me. I'm trying to clean my glasses. I thought I had a minute, but whatever. All right, so we'll just chat for a second. So let me just ask you, how long, we're talking another couple of days for the heat wave. Will it end in Los Angeles by the
At
weekend?
least, in fact, it probably end by Saturday or Sunday, but the heat peaks today, tomorrow, and Friday, with that heat just compounding each and every day, not really getting a chance to cool off at night, as is the case this morning. Temperatures start off in the 60s right now in Southern California, which is unusually warm.
And the ground is just going to be baking hot, right? Doesn't that
Hmm.
raise, when you get that kind of heat and the radiational heating, doesn't that heat the ground so that it retains more heat?
Yeah, they call it the heat island effect, especially in the urban centers. All the concrete buildings and the asphalt keeps the heat around overnight, slowly releases it back to the atmosphere, keeping it warm in the morning, and then you have a warmer starting point, so temperature only goes up from there.
Wow. Yikes. All right, Mike, thank you very much. Always love to get the instructions. Always, always, always from Mr. Mike Favetta, meteorologist extraordinaire. We appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
You bet.
It is 18 minutes past the hour, and we have a temperature now, as we mentioned. It's still 24 degrees in Trenton. It's 26 now, northern New Jersey, and it is 66 degrees in Los Angeles. Talk about a disparity. We look at traffic right now, and we have a crash on the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur. And this is exiting interchange 15X by the Secaucus train station in Secaucus. We all know that we've passed that part of the highway many, many times by the 15X. I remember when they put that up. So right now the right lane is blocked, but you can imagine that's causing a lot of traffic through that area. We have a malfunctioning traffic light on Route 29, and that is northbound by Sullivan Way in Trenton. All lanes are open. Downed pole on 206 both directions from south of Elm Road to Quaker Road in Princeton. All lanes are closed. Also a down pole, pardon me, on Route 1 northbound, north of Lafayette Avenue, Woodbridge, right lane and right shoulder are closed. And oh, wow, look at Pam finding this stuff as I talk. That's pretty darn good, Pam. Hudson River crossings in the New York area right now. We are looking at about 25 minutes at the Holland Tunnel. It says here 35 minutes at the Lincoln, GWB upper and lower levels. Pretty heavy. This has been the case all week. And it's funny how it seems one week people are on spring break. Next week they're back. So right now, that's what you're looking at every day. It's been like this. making your way across into Manhattan. It's going to cost you about 35 to 40 minutes, even at this early hour. We go to the West Coast, and right now in central LA, there's a traffic hazard reported at the intersection of the 101 and East 4th Street. Report of a fire right now at Imperial Highway on-ramp in East LA. In Newhall, there's a traffic collision on the 15. It's not saying where, though. And we have a traffic collision as well in South LA on the 405 at Lakewood Boulevard off-ramp. It is 20 minutes past the hour. Imagine trying to rest at home, but you constantly hear this annoying, deep frequency humming noise. Hum. Well, some folks in Vineland, New Jersey, we're saying the New Jersey part because people in California may not know what a Vineland is. That's a community in the southern part of the state of New Jersey. Some folks there don't have to imagine. They say it is happening to them. It seems there is a nearby AI data center that they say is disturbing their daily lives. The data center has its own 300 megawatt generation facility built by a Dutch company. And neighbors say the sound can be heard day and night in surrounding neighborhoods. You want to get a little taste of it? Listen to this. I already want to slap myself on the head. So now you're hearing it for 15 seconds and it's annoying. Can you imagine the residents who that is their home? That's where they retreat to at the end of the day to sleep. In the summer, they're going to go out in that backyard, that very backyard you saw, and they're going to want to relax with the kids and they got to hear hum, hum. That's obnoxious. And in defense of the company that built it, I'm sure they didn't even realize there was going to be that kind of noise. That doesn't mean that they don't have to do something to remediate it, though. Residents also worry about their water use, electricity demand, and property values. I don't mean the residents' water use. They're talking about that company. See, the problem with an AI facility, and Fisher, our tech guy, has talked about this, it is a massive, massive brain of electronic memory. And it requires a lot of electricity to run. And when it uses all that electricity, it produces a ton of heat. So to cool down the facility, it requires water. And to run the facility, it requires electricity. And I don't mean a little bit, I mean, in some cases, more electricity and more water than an entire town produces. So this is why the people there are freaking out because that data center, which I'm sure is bringing a lot of, don't get me wrong, I'm very pro company, I'm very pro corporate. It's probably bringing a fortune in taxes to the community, to the state, and I applaud that. But there's got to be a compromise where they put up a wall or something to try to reduce, to help minimize that noise so the people don't go crazy in Vineland, because I'd be going crazy right now. Local health officials have launched an investigation into the noise complaints. Hopefully soon they can come to a solution that's good for everybody. Look, we're not saying we shouldn't have AI centers. We need them. That's the future. But you're going to start getting NIMBYism. Everyone's going to say, not in my backyard, unless these guys come up with a solution to get rid of that noise. 23 minutes past the hour, a school bus carrying 6 students struck down utility wires in Wantage Township, New Jersey yesterday. It happened just before 7 a.m. Reports say the bus hit a utility pole on Mount Salem Road. Live wires fell on top of the vehicle. Emergency crews were able to safely remove the wires. The bus continued to its destination. The good news is nobody got hurt. Police are investigating. Well, remember NBC used to have the old slogan, proud as a peacock? Because peacocks spread their tail feathers and they have all the colors. That was back in the day when color TV was a relatively new thing. Today, of course, that's all we have. But back in the day, that's how NBC used to. They were the first network to be in color. So they used to promote the fact that they were the first color network to have color TV by having a peacock, right, in colors. That's why NBC. I'm sure, Pam, did you know that? Pam, our director who used to work for NBC, you knew that. Okay, because you used to work for NBC. How could you not know that? And it's one of America's great corporations. Don't get me wrong. It's like the CBS and NBC founded broadcast television in America. It's just amazing. Well, I'm digressing. That peacock right there. who has nothing to do with NBC, by the way. The peacock has become all the rage on social media. That proud peacock is on the loose in Cherry Hill and has been terrorizing the neighborhood. Dun, 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 dun. Folks in the area first saw the bird in the Fox Hollow neighborhood before it moved through various yards. Police tried to catch it, but it got away. The peacock was later seen miles away in Voorhees. No one's sure where the bird came from. They are not native to New Jersey. In fact, they're not even native to North America. But they are known to get nasty during spring mating season, and we are coming up on that now. They've been known to attack people who try to approach them. Chances are this guy was part of a petting zoo somewhere, or maybe somebody had them as a private pet, and he or she, well, it would be a he. That's a he. If it has the tail, it's a he, not a she. They call the she's peahens, and that's a peacock right there, or a peafowl. Peafowl is the generic term. But you try to approach them during mating season, and they will come at you because we have them all over South Florida when I'm down there. And they are nasty. They will come, and not only do they peck, they have talons, they have claws with hooks. You know, chickens are born with those hooks too, but they get removed when they're babies so that they can't claw and hurt each other. But peacocks will hurt you, so stay away. Call the police. 26 minutes past. Great story here. NASCAR returning to the Garden State. Wall Stadium Speedway will rejoin the NASCAR local racing series in the spring. It will mark the first NASCAR sanctioning for the track since 2007. New promoters Pete Miletto and Fred Archer are renovating and upgrading the facility. It is going to look cool. The historic speedway first opened in 1950. It's hosted many racing legends. The 2026 season will begin with practice in April. Opening day is April 25th. Something tells me our director, Pam, will be making an outing there because she loves her NASCAR too. A $1 million grant from the Morris County Open Space Preservation Fund helped finance the purchase of a 123-acre wooded property in Rockaway Township. The land will be set aside as open space. The purchase will allow for the expansion of protected areas within the Wildcat Ridge Wildlife Management Area. The preserved tract includes forests, wildlife habitat, and a 2-acre pond. Morris County has preserved more than 18,000 acres of land since 1994. And a Cape May father has been sentenced to prison for killing a seagull. Franklin Ziegler, who was sentenced to 8 months behind bars for killing the bird. It happened in 2024 near Maury's Piers and Beachfront water parks. Police say Ziegler beheaded the seagull after it tried to take his daughter's French fries. Not a normal thing. He later pleaded guilty to animal cruelty charges. Animal rights advocates criticized the sentence as too lenient. Dude, a little extreme. Coming up on 7:30 when we come back, more of the extreme heat in the Southwest and the cold in the Northeast. We'll be right back. Good morning. It's 30 minutes past the hour, Wednesday, March 18th, 2026. Welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato, live on the East Coast and now on the West. The folks here in the Northeast are chilling down, but the folks in the Southwest are certainly feeling the heat. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
Mike, the disparity between East and West is crazy right now. I can't believe how hot it is there. And the fact that we had our taste of spring and then Mother Nature said, not quite, it's still officially
Right.
winter, is kind of
It was
upsetting.
a tease. It was a spring tease that was a little rude, if you ask me, because now we're kind of stuck in the throes of winter right into the first few days of spring. Look at all this cold air with some clouds and even some snow off to our west that's pouring on in across the Northeast today. And yet there's still tree pollen that is out and about with those light breezes. That's at the moderate level. The other allergens typically come later on in the season. But it's a little bit of that westerly breeze that keeps us feeling chilly today. The big dip in the jet stream, allowing all these shades of purple and pink to allow the cold weather to pour on down from the upper Midwest. Today, another very warm, very hot day, stagnant air across the desert Southwest, which lasts into tomorrow. So that high pressure is kind of parked there, not moving. And that's also the case with our cold weather across the East. It's not moving anywhere anytime soon, even going into the weekend with cooler than average conditions forecast right throughout the upcoming weekend. Very clear sky right down to the coast there in Southern California, so it stays very warm today. And even though technically it's still winter, it feels more like the middle of summer with this heat registering triple digits out in the deserts. So two high pressures, one over there, providing all of that heat and humidity. Well, not really so much humidity, but the dry winds that will allow for the temperatures to climb very quickly. It takes until Saturday for the marine layer to move back in. That'll start to cool things down. Winds coming off of the water, and by Sunday, we'll be back to much cooler conditions out west. So plan on that warm weather to continue, and plan on the cold to continue out east with some clouds on the way too. We'll talk more about that part of the forecast coming up with another check of your forecast, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. It is 7:32 East Coast, 4:32 West. And right now we have a temperature of 26 degrees in northern New Jersey. On the West Coast, it is 65 degrees. Love it. That's unbelievable, the disparity. We have some traffic to talk about in the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur. We have a crash. This is exiting interchange 15X, which is by Secaucus train station. You can see the officer still on scene there. Not looking like a major problem, just everybody kind of slowing down through there. The right lane is blocked. Just beware as you head through that area. It's not going to be the normal 50 miles an hour or so that it is. It's down to about 30. Still moving though, thank goodness. We have a malfunctioning traffic light, and this is on Route 29 northbound by Sullivan Way in Trenton. All lanes are open though. And we have a down pole on 206 both directions from south of Elm Road to Quaker Road in Princeton with all lanes closed. Over to Route 1. I know Pam has this shot. A down pole on Route 1 northbound, north of Lafayette Avenue, Woodbridge Township, with the right lane and right shoulder closed, impacting that right there. Perfect shot there, Pam. Thank you. Hudson River crossings, we already have some real buildups to talk about. The Lincoln Tunnel's already up to 35 to 40 minutes in. Holland is 30, and the GWB upper and lower levels very slow. It's going to cost you 40 minutes already at this early hour. Upper level on the right, lower level on the left. And we have a traffic collision in Los Angeles now on the 101 at East 4th Street, and that is in central LA. We have the report of a fire in East LA at Imperial Highway on-ramp. There is a traffic collision also now in South LA, and that is on the 405 at Lakewood Boulevard off-ramp, and a collision in Baldwin Park on the 10 at the Vincent Avenue off-ramp. 34 minutes past the hour. For many American veterans, the journey home can come with challenges that extend far beyond their time in service. Lisa Regina has spent over 12 years documenting interviews with veterans, adapting their real-life experiences into a dramatic television series currently in development called Heroic Episodes. The project is executive produced by Joe Mantegna. He's a star. If you don't know the name, no, you'll know if you see his face. You'll know exactly who Joe Mantegna is. He's been in a lot of things. And it aims at creating real opportunities for veterans and young people. Lisa is also the founder of A Right to Heal. That is WRITE to heal, which among other things provides drone training for veterans. brilliant. We say good morning and welcome to you, Lisa.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
I just want to say that the idea of drone training, I don't think I've ever heard of anyone doing that, but it is a great career path. What a smart idea this is. But
Thank
we'll hit that in a second. But brilliant. Let's talk about heroic episodes first, though. What was the origin of that, and when did it start?
Sure. I met retired Army Captain Leslie Nicole Smith. She's Gary Sinise ambassador. And I actually taught her in my acting class. And the significance of that is she's legally blind and she's an
Oh,
amputee.
wow.
She lost her sight in her leg while serving in Bosnia in the Army. And she was amazing. She was just very comfortable on camera. So from that, I cast her in one of my films. And after 14 and a half hours of filming, she grabbed my hand and she had this emotion that was just overwhelming. And she said, I haven't felt this camaraderie since I served. And that's
Wow.
what inspired me to realize that, wow, being on a film set was very healing for her and emotional. So the next two films I did, I invited veterans on set as cast and crew, and they were amazing. And they had the same feeling that Leslie had. And of course, I have drones on set as we're filming. I'm a drone pilot, Part 107. And the vets, a lot of the veterans were drawn to the drones. Some of them had used them in the military. So that's what inspired the idea to start the Veterans Drone Training Program. And to date, we've been able to put 16 veterans through Part 107 training. And then, of course, those experiences, really started to inspire me to do more research about veterans and their families and transitioning home. And that's where the 12 and a half years of documenting true stories and then adapting them to the dramatic series Heroic Episodes.
I love it. I love it. And the idea that you're documenting it for everyone else to see, you're creating living history for everyone and documenting these heroes of our country who deserve to be spotlighted for all that they've done for us. Just a beautiful thing that you're doing with your skills. What were some of the most powerful stories that you've heard in that 12 and a half years? I'm sure you have a lot of them, but are there a few that stand out that you could share?
Yes, there are so many. I mean, they're just vast stories, a lot of humanitarian stories. Not all the stories are painful, but there are some. I think Leslie's story is probably like the one that really stands out for me because she's been able to overcome and inspire so many. But Frank Sean Johnson, U.S. Air Force veteran from Philadelphia, served during Desert Storm. He was a mental health specialist. He's actually an ambassador for my nonprofit, A Right to Heal. But his story really hits the heart because when he returned home, he was a healthy veteran transitioning home to Philadelphia, and he was shot in the back and paralyzed. An
Wow.
incident that took place in the city. Yeah, so surviving war, coming home to another war. And his story also really inspired the premise of Heroic Episodes. But Frank was amazing and resilient and fought for 2 years to overcome that wheelchair and wind up having his leg amputated, but he walks with a prosthetic. He was one of the first veterans that I put through the drone training, and it just gave him a whole new, you know, outlook on life, his career. It's amazing to just, it's such a good feeling, to see a veteran overcome, um, an obstacle, a physical obstacle, emotional, and then, come out like rise above it. And he's just doing great. We love him.
That's amazing. An amazing, amazing story. And I know that your project also focuses on community outreach. So how will excuse me, heroic, and forgive my voice, by the way, Gag, in the throes of something, some kind of an upper respiratory thing, how will heroic episodes create opportunities for veterans and at-risk teens on the set?
Yes, well, of course, that going back many years when I met Leslie, Captain Smith, providing them with cast, crew, roles like that, as we know, on a film set, on a TV set, there are so many roles and so many opportunities. But the veterans will have a chance. We'll employ them. They will be part of our cast, part of our crew, and then they will also act as mentors for the at-risk teens in the communities where we will be filming in Philadelphia and New Jersey. And I think it'll really give the at-risk teens in underserved communities a chance to reimagine their futures. You know, they will actually be learning something. So I'm just so excited about that part of the TV series, because it's more than a TV series. It's outreach to community, it's healing for the community, and it's offering job opportunities to veterans and giving them a chance to transition home and maybe find a new career. And they might stay with us throughout the episodes, or they might, at least use that as a place where they can learn a craft, learn a trade, and then go off into another career.
I mean, it is sort of a living history, so it is definitely more. It's not just TV show or whatever. This is a real life history book. You're bringing it to the screen and making it compelling for people to understand that it's not just a story. These are real people. These are people just like you, just like me, who woke up one day and said, you know what, I have a mission. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to help my country. And then they came back very wounded and both psychologically and physically. And this is amazing that this is being documented for all to see. And the fact that that kind of authenticity is being transmitted to younger people who might otherwise find the wrong way in life is so essential. I think they don't like inauthentic people. When you have an authentic person who's risked and sacrificed so much, I think that is a whole different message that comes across to young people and certainly has impact. Producing a series like this takes a lot of support, I'm sure. And I know you're crowdfunding this. How can people get involved and help bring the stories to life?
Yes, thank you for that. It's amazing how, if you have a large amount of people giving a little, you can really have an impact. So we started an Indiegogo campaign that we just launched. If you just type in heroic episodes, it'll come right up. And the reason why it's so important for us to keep this production independent is so we can keep our promise to employ our veterans and provide our at-risk teens with those apprenticeships. So we appreciate any support, and I know we can move mountains if everyone gets together and, feels the same way and is inspired by this.
Good deal. Look for the TV series called Heroic Episodes. The founder of A Right to Heal, WRITE, Lisa Regina. Thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you so much.
You bet. 43 minutes past the hour. When we come back, Oscar fashion with On New Jersey's Dawn Del Russo. You're watching Mornings with Ken Rosato. We're back in 2. And welcome back to Mornings with Ken Rosato. 45 minutes past the hour. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. Extreme heat in the southwest and cold in the northeast. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast for your city.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, the good news is if you don't like what's happening in the southwest and the northeast, just wait a few more days and you'll have what you like.
It'll all average out, and that's a guarantee. Going into next week, milder weather on the way. It just takes a good week to get things going. Another round of clear sky moves in across today, but it's chilly. Starting off in the 20s, climbing into the 30s. This warm front sweeps on by throughout the day tomorrow, but doesn't really warm us up, only brings us more clouds into Thursday, and that by Friday could provide another quick round of rain late Friday night into early Saturday morning. That next front sweeps on through and delivers clear sky but breezy conditions by Saturday afternoon. And while Sunday is dry and beautiful, we don't really tap into any mild weather, at least for the rest of the month. Have to wait until the first few days of April to do that. Whereas most of the country will be enjoying the warmth and the dry, we have equal chances of seeing some wet weather here across the east going into March 28th. We've got more details on the New Jersey forecast and, of course, the 7-day weather, Ken. That's coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Mike, thank you very much, sir. And we have a lot of traffic incidents going on we'll talk about in just a second. Just to remind everybody, temperature-wise, we already have 30 degrees northern New Jersey, 25 degrees in Trenton, but it is 64 degrees and the sun even hasn't come up yet in Southern California, 67 degrees in San Diego, 64 in Los Angeles. We look at some traffic and we got a lot of it. So let's start on Route 76 eastbound at exit 1B, which is 295 in Belmore. The left shoulder is closed and the left lane of 5 lanes closed, all because of this crash. So this is again a crash on 76 in Belmore. Not Belmore, but Belmar, M-A-W-R. It's always difficult. New Jersey has a lot of towns that have similar pronunciation. So this is further toward Philadelphia area. But nonetheless, this is the mess that they are dealing with. Fortunately, it's not causing a lot of traffic, but just beware and be careful as you're passing that. We have a crash reported on the New Jersey Turnpike Interroadway northbound north of Interchange 9, which is Route 18 in Edison. The right lane is blocked there. And a New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur has a crash exiting Interchange 15X. I know Pam has that. That's at the Secaucus train station in Secaucus or Secaucus, depending on if you are from the New York area or there. Secaucus. You can see the officer still on scene, but not really impacting traffic much. That's good news there. We have a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 29 northbound at Sullivan Way in Trenton. All lanes are open. And a downed pole at 206 in both directions by Elm Road, and that's in Princeton Township. Just be careful. Oh, just got a downed pole also reported in Woodbridge, northbound US 1, north of Lafayette Avenue. And we have our Hudson River crossings already pretty heavy. Oh, look at that. Pam finding everything today. My gosh, you just mentioned it. Pam has it. Don't even think traffic. Pam will have a camera shot for you. We have Hudson River crossings to report. The Holland Tunnel is now 30 to 35 in, which is a lot for the Holland at this time. Lincoln Tunnel is 35 to 40, and the GWB upper and lower level's been heavy all morning. Upper on the right, lower on the left. It's going to cost you 45 minutes at least making your way in. It looks like the upper might be a few minutes better than the lower right now. Off to the west coast we go, and in Newhall we have a traffic collision, no injuries, and this is on Route 14 at Soledad Canyon Road off-ramp. Another traffic collision, Central LA at the 101 and East 4th Street, and we have a collision now in South LA at the 405 and Lakewood Boulevard off-ramp. It's amazing that there are accidents in Southern California at 4:49 a.m., 7:49 East Coast time. And the biggest night in Hollywood wrapped up this past Sunday at the Academy Awards. And while the awards made headlines, the red carpet may have stolen the show, of course. Who are you wearing? What are you wearing? From dramatic feathered gowns to bold, vibrant colors, I left my feathered gown at home. A return to classic old Hollywood glamour. This year's fashion was anything but subtle. Designers like Gucci, Chanel, and Dior embraced texture and structure, sort of the way it was years ago. Very elegant. Here to break down all the standout trends and celebrity looks is our fashion expert, Dawn Del Russo from livetheglamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R, seen here every week at this time. Good morning to you, Dawn.
Good morning, Ken. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I was gonna wear my feather boa this morning, and I thought, overkill. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't try to show off the stars. So, what was your overall takeaway from this year's Oscars red carpet?
I was happy to see all the glamour, of course. I love when we see that, like the old world style coming back and feeling like
Mhm.
it is a true red carpet. I love, love, love that. One of the first dresses that you showed was this gorgeous, like pink and red combination gown, which honestly is a beautiful mix of colors, silky, long, flowy. Emma Stone, she wore a very minimal dress but felt like she was stepped right out of like the old times of Hollywood, which I really, and she was one of the first dresses that I saw on the red carpet. And I said, oh, good, we're finally bringing it back. I love that
Yeah.
so much. The glitz also was there, a lot of sparkle and just like this very high drama looks to the red carpet, which honestly to me is everything. If this is going to be a night to get dressed up, that's what we want to see. We want to see these big gowns. I mean, lots of feathers, as you mentioned in the beginning, which I think is really nice. I think that is a time that you can do the feathers. It's kind of, there's, you question when you can pull this off, but I think that's the time to do it. If they're going to do it, is on the red carpet.
And look at how nice Timothy Chalamet looked too in that white tux that he was wearing. It looked
Yeah.
elegant. I mean, this is, we went through this phase of
Yeah.
ugly, weird looking, like, or the near nudity stuff, and it's like, come
Hmm.
on, this is a chance to look. And correct me if I'm wrong, but fashion should accentuate the whatever you are. It should accentuate and make it elegant, right? As opposed to
Absolutely.
take somebody who's, I mean, some of the fashions years ago, over the years, took beautiful people and made them look ugly. That's what fashion's supposed to be. I mean, really, why are you doing this? It's like, well, they're too good looking. Let's make it ugly. I mean,
It's
you
so
look at
true.
Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien with that elegant tux, it fit him like a glove. Beautiful, gorgeous.
Yeah. I love that you said that about the fit too, especially for men, because those are the details that really make a difference in a tux is how it fits. If it's a little too long, it's going to look off. If the hand, if anything is hanging a little bit too bulky, that's going to turn the whole look off. But these men really tailored them and made them look perfect. Kate Hudson is another one that really stood out to me.
Hmm.
She had a
Beautiful.
gown. I mean, it was the color of it was like a seafoam color and it just fit her perfect. She had every little thought there. I mean, her nails were done though, even down to that little touch you noticed. She was there on the red carpet with her mom, and it just, the two of them together really was like, okay, now we're bringing back that feel of what it should have been, which was missing for a very long time. I also saw a lot of ballet style, like tulle dresses, and I thought that was so like
I'm
it's just fun,
laughing. I'm laughing because of Timothy Chalamet commenting about ballet and opera and whatnot. So of
Yes.
course there were a lot of people wearing ballet. That was funny. But yes, very, very elegant because I mean, ballet is about featuring like the
Yes.
young innocence of
Mhm.
young women, if you will.
Yes.
And that was definitely featured. I saw that too. And I actually thought about you and about this moment when we'd be talking about it. But it looked
That's
amazing.
It did. It really it's gorgeous. I feel like that tulle, the oversized gowns, those are what really, I mean, bring drama to a red carpet when you see somebody walking down the red carpet with this very oversized bottom to their dress. And they're calling it ballet core, which is because we're taking the ballet and it's like becoming like a core moment for for the red carpets. So I
Right.
think you're going to probably be seeing that tie in a little bit more into street style. We'll see. I don't think so much of the big gowns, but you might see a little bit more tulle, that pastel light pink. And then if we go the whole other side, there was a lot of bright, bold colors too. So there was blues and these really rich red colors and jewel tones that we saw a lot of as well. So there was this juxtaposition, I guess you can say, of this very light, flowy feel, and then some people really brought a lot of drama with those colors, the jewel tones too.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It definitely was. It was classy. It was nice to see the elegance of the Oscars once again brought to the screen because, and I'm glad they're doing it. Look, this is going to be one of the last years that network broadcast TV carries the Oscars because the entire TV industry is shifting to where we are. Isn't this amazing that when the owners of this channel, we'll just give them a shout out, Lisa and Gerald, when they first came up with this idea, a lot of people said, "Oh, America's not ready for, they're not ready for streaming TV on online yet." Hello, the Oscars are going where? They're going to be
Yeah.
streaming online within the next couple of years. They will be online. You can't watch them on broadcast TV anymore. Even ABC has been shifting gradually a lot of its programming to its app because they
Yeah.
know that that's where you're going to find the viewers. So that's a whole different thing. But that attracts a slightly different audience. So do you think there was some of that mindset from some of the celebs who were coming out because they knew they were reaching a more diverse audience?
Oh, absolutely. I think this is when they had to step it up. And it's so funny that you said that because when I went to put the Oscars on, I went on my TV and I said Oscars. And the first thing that came up was it's streaming on YouTube. So
Hmm.
when I said, wow, that's interesting. Like they're running these things, running shows now on these other platforms. And I like that. I think it makes it a lot more accessible and definitely to a bigger audience. And stars are aware of this. And I think some of them may be a little nervous because now it does change who's actually watching and how many people have their eyes on them.
Yeah, this is now a worldwide thing. This is no longer just your local TV
Yeah.
channel. And that's
Yeah,
the interesting thing
exactly.
because people ask us. Well, I know people have asked us. They're like, "You're on New Jersey, but I could see you on the web. Is it like defined? Can I only see you in New Jersey?" I'm like, "No, it's on the web. You can watch us anywhere." But the whole
Yeah.
idea is just because we're on the web doesn't mean you can't be focused to a certain community. And in the case of the Oscars, doesn't mean you can't be focused to entertainment and fashion. Of course you can. What's your
So
website for everybody once again to check you out, Dawn?
yes, it's livetheglamour.com and all this will be there. So if you want links and pictures to see everything, you can find it there.
Well, nobody lives the glamour more like you, more than you, I should say. On New Jersey fashion expert Dawn Del Russo from livetheglamour.com. That's glamour with an O-U-R. Thanks for coming on. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ken.
You bet. We're coming right back. And a very good morning to you. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is Wednesday morning, March 18th, 2026. Have you recovered from St. Patrick's Day? We'll take your calls. Let us know. 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. We are now exclusively dedicated to the East Coast here, and we have sun and clouds today in New Jersey, highs upper 30s. We had the meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike. So I'm currently streaming us behind the scenes on the TikTok, as the kids
Okay.
call it, the TikTok.
Yeah.
So I think in China right now, they're watching us going, what is he doing? Who is this guy? Hello, the TikTok. Hello, China. So there you have it. Now the Chinese government is going to start some kind of international something with the Trump administration. I know it's going to happen. And it was all because of you.
All because of Ken. All because of Ken. Well, okay.
Follow that, Mike.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Let's get to weather. How about that? We started off the morning really chilly. I mean, it's kind of soul crushing when you look at these temperatures and go, really? I thought it's supposed to be spring on Friday, and yet with a 25-degree actual air temperature down in Toms River, 23 over in Sussex, it's 9 or 7 degrees cooler depending on your location. So even colder than yesterday. With the wind gusts, there is a little bit of a wind chill and still some power outages across the western sections of the state where all of those damaging winds came through 2 nights ago as those storms rocked parts of western New Jersey right on the Pennsylvania border. We start off this morning nice and clear, a few clouds returning, but overall today will be a partly sunny to mostly cloudy day. Temperatures managing to make it into the upper 30s. That's a solid 10 degrees cooler than where we should be, so still running cool throughout this afternoon. As far as temperatures go, we'll keep those highs only in the low 40s at best, and then back down below the freezing mark tonight into tomorrow, staying chilly into tomorrow afternoon with clouds returning for the day on Thursday. A pretty gray looking day tomorrow, and then for Friday, maybe some breaks of sun, but really it's all about the rain that comes through Friday night into early Saturday morning. Those showers should clear by Saturday afternoon, leading to a sunnier second half of the weekend, but still it's going to stay rather cloudy even going into the first part of the weekend where highs struggle just to make it out of the 50s, Ken.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. We'll take those 50s. I'm counting ahead, counting ahead. We have 32 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 24 degrees in Trenton. Already disparity from inland to a little closer to the north and the coast. But nonetheless, we'll be warming up into the upper 30s at least today. So that's some good news. In terms of traffic, we have a disabled, disabled vehicle on the Garden State northbound entering of the southern terminus, Route 109, Cape May. So this is where the parkway begins. At the very bottom, if you look at a map of New Jersey, on the right side along the water, Cape May is at the very bottom. The Cape is, you see the little group of the barrier beach there. That's Cape May. At the very bottom is where the Garden State Parkway terminus is. Terminus, for those of you who don't know Latin, means the end. So that's the bottom of the Garden State. So there is a disabled vehicle there, not causing major problems, just to make you aware of it. We have a down pole on Route 1 northbound north of Lafayette Avenue, Woodbridge, right lane of 3 lanes on the right shoulder closed. Crash on the Turnpike, inner roadway northbound north of Interchange 9, Route 18 Edison with the right lane blocked. And we have a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 29 northbound by Sullivan Way, Trenton, all lanes open. A down pole also now on Route 206, both directions from south of Elm Road to Quaker Road in Princeton with all lanes closed. And your Hudson River crossings, not so great today. Holland Tunnel is going to cost you 30. Lincoln is 35 to 40. And the GWB has been a mess all morning. Upper level on the right, lower on the left, 45 plus minutes into Manhattan. It is 8:04. Imagine trying to rest at home, but you constantly hear a hum, hum. Some folks in Vineland don't have to imagine. They say it is happening to them. Seems there's a nearby AI data center that they say is disturbing their daily lives. It is a huge 300 megawatt facility built by a Dutch consortium. The neighbors say the sound can be heard day and night in all the surrounding neighborhoods. And if you want a little taste of what the residents have been hearing, here it is. So now I used to have a house in Hollywood, Florida, and we had a water treatment facility about a mile away. And it was generally quiet, but once every 15 minutes, it would drop the water. Now, let me explain what that is. Literally, all the water would be pumped up to the top to like 300 feet in the air. All the particulate matter would go to the bottom, and that's how they cleaned it. Because the water you flush down your toilet, you drink again. You do know that, right? It just gets treated. A lot of people don't. They think that once they what do you think? Water treatment facilities, they treat bacteria-filled water. They separate the bacteria and they put a little chlorine and they make it clean again. That's how you drink the water. What do you think people in space do? They don't just turn on the faucet and get water from Earth. They're drinking reused water. That's what we do. Okay. Ham is screaming ew in my ear. Yeah, now you don't want to drink your water. But every 15 minutes, it would go you heard this loud bang because what would happen is at the bottom of the treatment tank, all the silt and whatnot would be dumped out, and the clear water on top would then go down a pipe. Anyway, if you were laying out in our backyard in Hollywood, Florida, you would hear that loud bang. That is environmental pollution, if you will, but it's part of what when you bought the place, you knew that was going to happen. Those folks here in Vineland, they didn't buy their place knowing this was going to happen. This facility just got built. So they are going crazy. And they're also worried about water use because in order to keep the equipment cool in an AI facility, it requires hundreds of thousands of gallons of water flowing through to keep all the circuits cool because there's a lot of electricity in there warming up those circuits. Also, electricity demand. Literally half the town's electricity is going to run that AI facility. And they're worried about their property values plummeting. So you can imagine a lot of people pissed off in Vineland, which is a very nice community. Local health officials have launched an investigation into the noise complaints. Look, we need companies. We're not trying to say we don't want a company that does AI because they probably bring a lot of tax dollars to New Jersey. But the reality is, you got to think of the people living there too. Noise pollution is a real thing, as we just heard. So just think about it. Maybe they could build a wall. Maybe they could do something that'll absorb that noise, but that's pretty obnoxious. 8:07 is our time. A school bus carrying 6 students struck down utility wires in Wantage Township yesterday. It happened just before 7 a.m. Reports say the bus hit a utility pole on Mount Salem Road. Live wires fell on top of the vehicle. Emergency crews were able to safely remove the wires, and the bus continued on to its destination. Nobody got hurt. Police are trying to figure out what happened and how they hit that pole. Well, it has become all the rage on social media. A proud peacock is on the loose in beautiful Cherry Hill, New Jersey. It has been terrorizing the neighborhood, quite literally, as peacocks can do. Folks in the area first saw the bird in the Fox Hollow neighborhood before it moved through various yards. Police tried to catch it, but it was a little wily. It got away. The peacock was later seen miles away in the town of Voorhees. Nobody's sure where the bird came from because peacocks are not native to New Jersey. They're not even native to North America. So somebody had to either have it as a pet or it was at a petting zoo or a zoo or farm or something. They are known to get nasty during the spring mating season. Excuse me, I'm in the throes of something right now, folks. They are known to get nasty. So you approach them during spring mating season and they will put out their plume of tail feathers, which can be used for two things by that little bird. They're used to either attract a mate to show that they're a tough guy with his beautiful plume feathers. By the way, the female peahen, they're known for real. The peahen does not have the tail feathers like that. The peacock does. So it's meant to attract a mate. And it's also meant to scare off another peacock or other animals because by spreading the feathers, the tail feathers big like that, it makes the animal look bigger than it is. So if you see a peacock coming toward you, or if you start to walk toward it and it spreads its feathers and does that, gently walk back. Don't run. Walk back because it will come after you and bite you and try to claw you. They have talons. They are known to get very nasty during mating season. And a lot of people who've approached them have learned the hard way not to do that, even animals. So if you have like a cat who thinks that's interesting, you might want to remind the cat not to do that because they will end up with a claw in their eye. We don't want that. It is 8:10. NASCAR fans, listen up. NASCAR is returning to the Garden State. When I think NASCAR, I think Raceway Park. Remember that? But this is not Raceway Park. This is another wonderful NASCAR facility, Wall Stadium Speedway, which is a cool place. Wall Stadium Speedway. It will rejoin the NASCAR Local Racing Series this spring. It'll mark the first NASCAR sanctioning for that track since 2007, nearly 20 years. The new promoters, Pete Miletto and Fred Archer, are renovating and upgrading the facility, putting a lot of money into it to make it nice. The historic speedway first opened in 1950, 76 years ago, and it's hosted many racing legends. The 2026 season will begin with a practice in April and opening days at the end of April, April 25th. Excuse me as I cough. Thank you. And we have a multi-million-dollar grant from the Morris County Open Space Preservation Trust Fund to help finance the purchase of a 123-acre wooded property in Rockaway Township. The land will be set aside as open space. The purchase will allow for the expansion of protected areas within the Wildcat Ridge Wildlife Management Area. The preserved tract includes forests, wildlife habitat, and a 2-acre pond. Morris County has preserved more than 18,000 acres of land since 1994. 811, a Cape May father has been sentenced to prison for killing a seagull. Franklin Ziegler was sentenced to 8 months behind bars for killing the bird. It happened in 2024 near Maury's Piers and beachfront water parks. Police say Ziegler beheaded the bird after it tried to take his daughter's French fries. He later pleaded guilty to animal cruelty charges. Animal rights advocates criticized the sentence as too lenient. It says something about somebody who would cut off a bird's head because it grabbed a French fry. Maybe not a good idea. Sparky the Fire Dog, the mascot of the National Fire Protection Association, celebrating his 75th birthday today. Sparky was introduced in 1951 to promote the safety of fire and fire education, to make sure people are safe and know what to do to prevent fires. The characters help teach messages like stop, drop, and roll and get out, stay out. The NFPA says U.S. fire departments respond to a fire every 23 seconds. It is 30 degrees right now at 8:13. When we come back, a children's book with a special message. Sun and clouds today, highs in the upper 30s. Meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with your full Garden State forecast. And we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be back in 2 minutes, so go away. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. I don't know if you heard me coughing. I'm fighting whatever this is, but fortunately, I'm isolated in a private booth, a private studio, so no one else is getting infected. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Sun and clouds today, highs in the upper 30s. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
See, Mike, it's days like this that I'm
Mm.
glad we don't have the old days when I was at Channel 7 and Channel 5 where we were all on top of each other. Literally, we would sit before the pandemic. I remember at
Uh-huh.
Channel 7, there was a consultant who said, you want to sit as close to as physically possible to each other. So we'd have like a half an inch between our arms. And this guy, every consultant, they have to come up with something wacky or else they're
Uh-huh.
not
To
earning their
stay
money.
relevant, of course. Yeah.
Right. So he would say, "Oh,
Uh-huh.
if you're more than that far apart on a TV, that far looks like this, and it looks like you're trying to avoid your partner, and you don't like that person." I loved my co-anchors; they were great, but nonetheless, that's the way the consultants had it. So we used to sit on top of each other. I say that because you knew what the person ate the night before, because you could smell it coming out of their pores. I knew I tried to avoid eating anything garlicky the night before because I didn't want my pores to smell. Because you are
Mm-hmm.
literally for
You're on
3 hours
top.
right next to the
Yep.
person. So,
Sure.
and you make sure your breath is clean because you're right next to them. Sorry, just inside baseball here.
And now so far apart, yet so close together. And you know
Yeah,
what? We're in
now
the
we're in
palm
different
of everybody's
studios.
hand this morning because now that's the
That's
new
right.
way of watching. Yeah, starting off this morning, your fingers might be freezing if you're watching from outside because so much cold weather starting off our day. Clouds returning for the rest of the morning. Even though we started briefly with the sunshine, probably not going to warm up all that much. Even down the shore over toward Tom's River, Ship Bottom, down on LBI, a little bit of a gusty breeze this afternoon and tomorrow, gusting up to about 10, 15 miles per hour, taking that wind chill right back down into the teens and 20s overnight. Starting off tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, back down at 30 over in Morristown, maybe getting up just above the freezing mark by the afternoon, but still staying chilly going into the next few days. The weekend tries to warm up into the 50s, but I think it'll take some time because by Sunday, back in the teens, trying to get beyond what feels like this eternal winter that started early and is going a little further into spring. So we'd like to kick that out of here. Saw a few clouds overnight. A lot of the snows across the upper Midwest are now dwindling down. And now through the next few days, plan on that slightly milder weather taking over, bringing us back into the 40s and 50s by Friday. Even though the wind will make it feel briefly chilly, have that warm front on Friday afternoon to briefly warm us, and then some rain Saturday morning that clears out by Sunday. So hour by hour taking you into next week. We finish out the weekend dry, then Monday has a quick passing shower, but I think Tuesday brings back some nice weather and even into Wednesday look dry as well. Oh, we've got a big birthday today. Happy 90th birthday to my grandmother there. She's got 6 grandkids and 5 great grandkids, all one after the next. So had a special weekend with her over the weekend. But have to give the shout out to Louise, who turns 90 today, lifelong resident in New Jersey. So. Well, after emigrating from Slovakia at the age of 8. But yeah, after that in New Jersey. So Ken, big birthday shout out to Babička, as we call her in Slovak.
Oh, Babichka, I want to hear it. I want to give mwah, kiss to Babichka, to Louise. God bless her.
Hmm.
That woman is 90. Are you kidding me?
I know.
She looks about
Hmm.
70. 90 is the new 70. May she live to be 200. God bless you, Louise. What a lovely lady. That's wonderful, my friend. Good stock. You're going to live to be
Good stuff.
200. Just wait.
Well, we'll see
Do we
about
want to live to be 200? I don't
that.
know.
I don't know.
But hopefully, as long as we're in good health, that's all that matters.
Hmm.
But thank you, Mike, and God bless you, Louisa. Happy birthday, Donna. That's great. Awesome. Thank you, sir, for sharing that.
You bet.
It is 8:19 right now, and our temperature is 24 degrees in Trenton. It is 30 degrees in northern New Jersey. Big disparity, but we're going to get up to the upper 30s, as Mike was saying. So we'll see where it goes. In terms of traffic, We have a crash on the turnpike inner roadway northbound, north of interchange 9, Route 18, Edison. All lanes are currently open, but it's causing a little brake check. We have a down pole on 206, both directions south of Quaker Road in Princeton. All lanes are closed. And a disabled vehicle, Garden State Parkway northbound, entering at the southern terminus by Route 109, Cape May. Partial ramp blockage. Not a big deal there. Just give you a heads up on that. Also, we have a down pole on Route 1 northbound, north of Lafayette Avenue, Woodbridge. Right lane and right shoulder closed, and a malfunctioning traffic light, Route 29 northbound by Sullivan Way in Trenton. All lanes are open. Our big problems today, if you will, if you want to call it problems, just volume at the Hudson River crossings. Holland Tunnel is going to cost you 30 minutes. Lincoln is 35 to 40, and the GWB upper and lower very slow. It's been this way literally since 6 a.m. It's going to cost you about 45 minutes in upper level on the right. Lower level is just stopped there on the left. Just an absolute mess. It is 8:20 right now. She turned her family's personal journey into a story meant to inspire courage and compassion. Lauren Luna Patires, a mother and a school administrator, recently published her first children's book called Colorful Casts and Courage, inspired by her 6-year-old daughter, Lainey, who lives with Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy. And we say good morning to both of you. Good morning and good to have you on.
Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, it's great to have you. Thank you. And please excuse Ken's horrible voice here. I'm referring to myself in the third person because I want to sit away from me. That's how nasty this cough and cold is. But fortunately, no one's around me. So it's a good thing.
Thank you for
So
having
tell us,
us.
please. Oh, it's an honor. Thank you for sharing this story and this journey. Tell us about Lainey and the journey that inspired you to write Colorful Casts and Courage.
So, Lainey was born with Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy. My husband and I found out when she was 3, and kind of turned our world upside down. As she progressed through school, she was in pre-K, and she was starting to go through the serial cast phase because Emery-Dreifuss affects certain muscles in her body, her leg muscles, which stretch into her feet, as well as her upper arms, her biceps and triceps. So she had to wear casts on both legs, and they were going to be worn for a month, and she was going to go to school with these casts. And being in pre-K4, her pre-K teacher asked me how should she tell her friends, her classmates. And being a former educator myself and a school administrator, I was like, oh, I'll just get a book on Amazon. Well, come to find out, there was no real book on Amazon that really delved into, going to school with casts in regards to not breaking anything. So my journey started with a poem for my daughter, and then ended up turning into this year-long journey and making a book for her. And this book really talks about compassion and inclusion and acceptance, what every parent wants for their child, right? My daughter is bright, beautiful, but I also want to make sure her friends accept her. And we're very lucky we have a family. Both sides of our family is very supportive, as well as our close friends. And so that's where my story led. And this is Elena.
Well, she certainly is absolutely beautiful. God bless her. God bless you. Just for people who don't know, and I'm not familiar with the details of it, Emery-Dreifuss muscular dystrophy differs from other types of muscular dystrophy. How?
It affects different parts of their body. So hers preliminarily affects the outer portions, her legs, her arms, and it can affect her heart in the future, in which this little girl goes through doctor visits like you can't believe throughout the year. We're at HSS, which is the Hospital of Special Surgeries, which she sees the head specialist there to constantly look at her feet and the progression of her flexibility in her outer limbs. We go to Columbia for neurology. We go to Hackensack. We see a cardiologist out of Columbia, stationed here in Paramus, which is near us. But we are constantly, as every parent with a child with a disability knows, we are, living, trying to live day by day. That anticipatory grief for parents is pretty isolating, but we try to live in the present here and try to be as positive as possible. And we're constantly going to OT and PT and Lainey's thriving, and she was going to gymnastics. She was also, she loves to dance and sing. So she was, she took part in her dance class, her hip hop class. So yeah, I'm a mother on a mission, Ken, a mother on a mission just to try to, raise awareness here, letting everybody know our differences don't define us. It's what makes, us unique and beautiful.
100%, 100%. And there's good and bad in the internet age because it can
Well,
become less frightening for kids to be able to Google the issue themselves, find out what is this kind of muscular dystrophy and educate themselves. At the same time, the bad is you get mean kids who might say things or act in certain ways in the internet. Have you found that with social media, or is she Lainey just before that point in social media right now with her friends?
She's before that point in social media.
Okay.
Social media can be it's a wonderful tool, but it's also it has its boundaries and its limitations. And I worry, about her
Hmm.
future, about kids hiding behind a computer screen, adults hiding behind a computer screen,
Hmm.
saying things or just remaining anonymous on certain websites. But we have to keep pushing forward, right? I have to try to stay positive, and I have to be the voice for my daughter, and I'll always do that as long as I'm here. And I'll do it for every parent out there who's afraid to
Hmm.
speak up, to raise awareness. Wherever we go, Ken, I'm always looking to make sure everything is handicap accessible, parking, ramps, you name it. And if not, I'm the first one calling the place up, letting them know.
Right?
It's definitely something different. My husband and I, this is our one and only daughter, so it's our way of life now.
Well, and she is very blessed to have you, as I know you know that you are very blessed to have her. God put the
Absolutely.
two of you together, the three of you together for a reason. We have about a minute left. I should have gotten to this a little earlier, but I want to know about how the book is speaking to the emotional experience that parents go through. What was it like putting that all on paper and telling that story? What was that like for
Hard.
you?
It was very hard and difficult. I had nights, and I still have restless nights. But this book pretty much is for Lainey as well as her classmates, to just show kids that she wants to be included. All kids that are different want to be included. And some days might be difficult, not only for Lainey, for a kid that doesn't necessarily have a disability, but as long as they help each other and they help lift each other up, it's what makes the difference.
Hmm. And you, of course, were a school administrator. My mother was too, by the way. And my mother-in-law was a teacher. So I've had that in my family on both sides.
Yes, I
And
was a
I
teacher
know
for 9 years and an administrator now. Yes.
there you go. So you know what it's about. No, always trying to make sure that every kid in your school feels included and welcome. What's a website to buy the book, get more information to? Because this is a
Amazon. We're
valuable,
on
valuable book.
Amazon.
Okay. And so if anybody, but you also have a separate website?
It's called LAP Creations. Yes, but you could purchase the book on Amazon.
Okay. And we want to make it number one today. So let's let everybody get it. It's called Colorful Casts and Courage. Mother, author, school administrator. You should be Mother of the Century. God bless you.
Oh my
Lauren,
God!
Luna,
Thank you.
Pat, Tyre, and Lainey, thank you for being on, Lainey, as well, and for being as beautiful as you are. May God always bless you and keep you safe and protected and happy. Thank you both for coming on this morning.
Oh, thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, Ken.
You bet. Have a good day. And when we come back, energy demand in New Jersey continues to skyrocket, forcing energy costs higher and higher. But one commercial land development may have the answer to the Garden State's energy crunch. We're coming right back. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. 8:31 is our time right now. We have 30 degrees in northern New Jersey. It is 24 degrees in Trenton. We welcome you back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It has gotten cold again. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the forecast near you.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
It has gotten cold again, and I have gotten a cold again. I just went through this whole laryngitis thing a couple of months ago, remember? And I
Yeah.
finally got my voice back. But I told you, my other half doesn't want me with a voice. I think this was all deigned by God.
Well, my other half just pushes through the pain, doesn't have the voice, but still will strain through it. And I'm like, honey, take a breath. Just, calm down. It's okay. No, no, no. Gotta talk, gotta talk. You can't, it's the Italian, I guess. It's the
Yes.
hot-headed Italian. But our forecast brings back plenty of cold weather today. Nothing hot about this forecast, especially with the clouds now working back into the picture. Specifically across southern New Jersey first, you've gone back to overcast. So starting in the 20s, warming into the 30s, maybe getting to 40. And on top of that, there is still tree pollen. You can even hear it in my voice with the tree pollen levels back to moderate. You already see the little buds popping up on the trees. With temperatures today making it back into the low 40s, it'll feel chilly with some breaks of sun by the end of the day. Plan on more clouds as the afternoon goes along. Although it's dry, not anticipating any rain until we get to Friday night into Saturday morning. That's our next chance for some wet weather. Plan on the dry weather until then. So high pressure moves in today. We'll get some sunshine back later on this afternoon, and then trying to warm things up, maybe back into the 40s tomorrow with the clouds, and especially by Friday. But it's Friday night into Saturday. Another front pushes on by, gives us a quick round of light rain, clearing by Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday is nice and sunny, but still chilly. We can't quite get out of that cold pattern, even with the 7-day forecast prompting temperatures to only make it up to 60 briefly as a high when the sun returns, and then some more showers later on Sunday evening. I think by Monday and Tuesday, look at that, we fall back down into the 40s, and the overnights are still chilly in the 30s. So again, a brief warm up back to closer to average where we should be for the first few days of spring, and then fall right back down into that chilly territory, Ken, going into next week. We'll try to find some warmth, at least beyond that, coming into April.
All right, Mike. Warmth we need, indeed. It's time for spring. Thank you very much, Mike. Appreciate it. It is 8:34 right now, and our temperature 28 degrees northern New Jersey, 24 degrees in Trenton. It's 24 in Vineland and 26 degrees in Cape May. In terms of traffic, we have an overturned tractor trailer now, Route 28 eastbound at Chimney Rock Road in Bridgewater. Right lane of 2 lanes on the right shoulder currently closed. A crash on the Turnpike, inner roadway northbound north of interchange 9, Route 18, Edison. All lanes open to traffic, though. We have a down pole on 206 in Princeton, impacting both directions, south of Quaker Road in Princeton Township proper, and also a down pole. This is now on US 1 northbound, north of Lafayette Avenue, Woodbridge Township, right lane of 3 lanes, and the right shoulder closed. You can see there, folks are avoiding it, getting around it. Hudson River crossings right now. Lincoln and Holland are both reporting 30 minutes in. The GWB upper and lower levels, very slow all morning. This has been the case since about 6 a.m. Upper level on the right, lower on the left. 8095 approach is going to cost you 45 minutes in. 8:35 is our time. As New Jersey's economy grows, energy demand is increasing rapidly. Developers and business leaders are now looking for new ways to ensure reliable power while supporting that growth. And of course, in the last 5 to 7 years, we've shut down a number of power generating plants in New Jersey, just as AI facilities have been coming online and electric vehicles are increasing in number. So as the demand for electricity has been going up, the supply has been going down. Well, one project getting attention is the modernization of the power plant at the Nutley-based On3 campus. It's a major mixed-use development that continues to expand, and the upgrades are designed to improve energy efficiency and support the campus as it grows to serve more tenants. Eugene R. Diaz is the principal partner at Prism Capital Partners. We say good morning to you, Eugene.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
Great. Good to have you on. And of course, On New Jersey is called On New Jersey because of On3. That's one of the reasons why our channel has that name. A lot of people don't realize that. And we're located, of course, you're located on Route 3 in Nutley. What used to be the old Roche Pharmaceuticals building, you guys have taken that and transformed it into a diamond, just a beautiful spot. But you've done so with such brilliance. you've taken and created an on-site power plant that has been part of the On3 development. Tell us what that means. Was that power plant always there and always part of the concept, or was that something that you added on to create sort of a mini city within itself?
Yeah, Ken. So remember, this is a 119-acre campus that had over 4.5 million feet of space on it when Roche occupied it and supported 10,000 people a day here, right? When we bought the campus from Roche back in the near the end of 2016, this co-hybrid power plant, as it's called, was already existing on the campus. Roche had built it to support their operations, but Roche had used it more as backup to their operations in case they lost power from PSE&G. The turbines would be running, and that would provide the electricity and energy. We took a different tact when we bought the campus. We recognized the importance of sustainable power and, more importantly, uninterruptible power. So we converted this co-hybrid power plant, which is a 10 megawatt plant, which means we make 10 megawatts of electricity. We converted it as to primary power, and essentially the utility company for all of the companies and users on this campus. And of course, this campus continues to grow, and ultimately we'll now have over 1,000 residential units on it that were recently approved, retail that is already under construction, and of course the over 1.5 million to 2 million feet of research and development operations, including the Hackensack Meridian Health Medical College.
Amazing. And for anyone who doesn't realize, if you're on Route 3, if you're going eastbound on Route 3 on the right, just look for the Starbucks. It's the Starbucks there, right? That's by your entrance. So that defines your entrance. It's a great place to come up. And when you get off and go into that beautiful complex, you can just see what the future holds for that. And the idea that you have thought forward as you have is amazing. And I'm sure all the elected officials and the PSE&G folks are very happy that you've produced your own power here. Do you see this as something that will be the future for other major construction developments for corporations around the state?
Yeah, Ken, that's a great question. And there is a legislation in the state that provides for how you operate these co-hybrid plants. And we have been pushing the state to increase the opportunities for co-hybrid power plants to service customers. A couple of the limitations. We cannot cross a public roadway with these electric lines, right? So we own all the land in the campus, all 119 acres, all the roads in the campus are private, so we can service everybody inside. Here's another limitation. I'm not permitted to service residential customers. Now, for a state that is 39th on the list of surplus power, which means we import almost 46% of our power that's used in New Jersey is imported from out of state, right? We're 39th out of 50 states, and we're 41st, I think, in the cost of that electricity in 50 states. Why isn't the state being more proactive in allowing plants like this? And by the way, plants like this exist all throughout the state. They were built by lots of these industrial companies that are no longer operating here, these manufacturing plants. Why isn't the state embracing these and allowing them to be expanded and have advanced utilization to service more customers? Because we already can't service the ones that we have.
Eugene, stop with your logic. Just stop it right now. It is ridiculous. Why we could increase that and ask, why did the former administration shut down 5 or 6 perfectly functioning power plants in the state at a time that we already had an increase? How do you say we want everyone to use electric vehicles by 2030, but we'll shut down 6 power generating plants at the same time? And then you wonder why all of a sudden the cost of energy has gone up, and then you blame the regional energy consortium when it has nothing to do with them. It's because you shut down 6 power plants. But you're trying to come up with a solution, and they're like, we don't want to hear it. And it just drives you insane. But I think the more we bring this message directly to the public so that they could get on the cases of their elected officials, maybe something can be done in Trenton. But you know how slow they are to act.
Yeah, well, again, remember that this plant, these co-hybrid plants do other things, right? So not only do we make electricity, but one of the real benefits of this plant is that the waste product is heat. And we use that waste product actually to provide heating for all these buildings. And as research buildings, they do require lots of heat. We also have things here called steam generated chillers. So we actually use the steam in the summertime to provide cooling through chiller capacities. Also, then reducing the electricity demand on the overall system and providing greater efficiency and resiliency and redundancy to all the users on the campus. So, yes, On3 has become the preeminent corporate location in the state for forward-thinking companies, and we're so proud of the major Fortune 500 companies that have chosen to locate here on this campus. And we're looking forward to continuing to expand it, working with the local municipalities on the development approvals so that more people can take advantage of the great opportunity to be part of such a forward-thinking and futuristic environment that the rest of the state should be adopting as a general policy.
Eugene, I hope the Fortune 500 start a bidding war to get onto that property because it is so beautiful and you have thought ahead so brilliantly. Talk about sustainability, talk about the ability to produce your own electricity and not be a draw on the community, but just the opposite. And then to be self-contained in an area that will not negatively impact the homeowners in the region, but positively impact says everything. We need to have you back on to talk about this more because this is something that is not going to go away and it's going to impact people all over the state. Eugene R. Diaz, principal partner at Prism Capital Partners. The location is On3. If you pass it on Route 3, you'll see it. It's beautiful. Eugene, thank you so much for coming on and sharing the story this morning. All right. Amazing. The man is brilliant, and people need to take a lesson from a company like that. It is currently 29 degrees northern New Jersey, 24 in Trenton. When we come back, Brookdale Performing Arts Center rolling out its spring 2026 lineup. We're coming back in 2 minutes. Very good morning. It is 8:45 right now. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. 27 degrees northern New Jersey, 24 degrees in Trenton. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the full Garden State forecast.
This weather is brought to you by Audio Nova, your hearing experts, serving all of New Jersey with 13 locations.
All right, Mike, and it comes. The cold weather is here, and it caused a cold in me, but we're fighting through. We don't want the cold to be here. We want spring. spring, and it's going to be
Sure,
Friday,
spring,
right?
and then the allergy, so you feel like you have a cold, but you don't. That just kind of takes us
Hmm.
into March and April. So all good things from this point forward, Ken. Just think about the future, the warming weather, and the pollen that comes with it too. You can kind of write your name in the windshield of your car. It'll probably be so thick in about 2 weeks, 2, 3 weeks. It's coming. It's coming. Especially with the dry period that's expected. Not much rain, just a little spritz and sprinkle here by the weekend, but temperatures going into the northern section of the state, starting off in the 20s, rising only into the 30s today. All of that dry weather and heat locked down toward the desert southwest. Our weather, equal chances of seeing dry and wet, and going into the first week of April, also seeing just quite average weather. All that heat stays across the southern half of the country with the above average temperatures there. The 7-day forecast sees a little bit of a warm up, getting up to 60 by Saturday. That's after some early morning showers. Another chance of some rain by Sunday, and then we drop things back down into the 50s and 40s again into next week. So we'll start to see temperatures moderate, but it's still going to be chilly every morning with a little bit of frost, certainly, which is typical this time of year, especially in late March. And then by Saturday and Sunday timeframe looks rather cool there. I clicked too fast. Let's go back. There we go. That's a check of your forecast, Ken. So we've got some dry weather ahead, a little bit of a warm up by the end of the week, and then next week, see that sunshine once more.
All right. Sunshine, sunshine, we got to have you come. All right. Just saying, putting it out there in the world, and hopefully the world will respond, and not in the way it did last time with the incident. It's another story. Mike, have a wonderful day, sir. We'll see you again in the morning. Thank you. All right. It is currently 34 degrees. No, it's not. It is 29 degrees, northern New Jersey, 24 degrees in Trenton. We have a lot of incidents to report. So right now there's a crash on the Garden State Parkway, southbound, south of exit 143C, which is Route 124. Excuse me, 124 in Irvington. All lanes are open, but there's a delay of about a mile and a half, taking you down to about 25 to 30 miles an hour. As you can see, the police on the scene taking care of it. Disabled bus now in the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound south of interchange 15E, which is 1 and 9 in Newark. The right lane is blocked. And we have an overturned tractor trailer Route 28 eastbound by Trimney Rock Road in Bridgewater. Right lane and right shoulder closed with an overturned tractor trailer. Crash reported now on US 1 southbound south of Morris Goodkind Bridge in New Brunswick. Right lane and right shoulder are closed there. And a down pole in Princeton. This is on 206 in both directions south of Quaker Road, again in Princeton. Down pole also in Woodbridge on US 1 by Lafayette Avenue. And your Hudson River crossing's pretty slow. Lincoln and Holland, both 35 to 40, and the GWB upper and lower levels been causing people problems all morning. This looks like almost like a still picture, but it's not. As you can see by the upper right, this is not a still picture. This is what's happening. To get into Manhattan, it's not moving. It's not moving. This is going to be an hour right now in the GWB. We don't know what's going on. I'm wondering if something is happening mid-span, but right now, upper level on the right is stopped. Lower level is barely crawling. Again, it's saying an hour. I bet you it's longer than that. So if you can, take anything but the GWB into Manhattan right now, because it's going to cost you a lot of time, unfortunately. It is 8:49. Brookdale Performing Arts Center is on the main campus of Brookdale Community College in Lincroft, and it's rolling out its spring 2026 lineup featuring improv nights, an 80s themed murder mystery, which is always fun, and a special production of the Stephen Sondheim Musical Company. Sherry Vanderspiegel is the supervisor of the Performing Arts Center. She's here to talk about this season. Good morning, Sherry.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you. Just getting over the thick of a cold, so excuse my laryngitis, but
No.
feeling good. So
Right.
tell me about this spring at Brookdale. It sounds like you have an exciting lineup.
We do. So we've been doing our main theater is under renovations. We're having a whole new lighting system put in. So we're doing some different things in our smaller theater, our black box theater. So we did some smaller cabaret cafes, and we're doing improv nights. We have 2 of those coming up in May, and we're doing a Broadway night in May as well, which we have some of our current students and alumni coming to perform some Broadway hits for everyone. And in April, as you said, we're doing our musical company, which is going to be in the black box, and it's going to be in the round, and it's very immersive. So it's a lot different for us this year, but it's very exciting, the stuff we're doing.
Steve Sondheim is serious stuff. That's not easy stuff to
Yes.
put on.
No.
What was that? What made you decide to do Stephen Sondheim?
Trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and being in our black box, our director actually has loves the show. I love the show as well. Had
Hmm.
always wanted to do it kind of in a smaller, immersive, like in the round kind of scenario. So we kind of suggested it. We're like, let's see if we get the rights. And we're like, this is a great idea. Let's do it and see what happens. So it's going very well. We were at a rehearsal the other night and sounding very, very good.
That's amazing. Sondheim helped define Broadway, and for those who don't know, in
Yeah,
like the 70s, early 70s, and it made Broadway unique to anywhere else in the world. And and Sondheim's
absolutely.
work is just it's light years ahead. It's brilliant. So good for you.
Yeah.
And the
Oh, yeah.
production is being staged. So you're doing this in the
Mhm.
round. That's
Yes.
amazing. That and so the audience is right in the middle of the action. So talk about
Yeah.
how that changes the experience because people see the actors from all sides. There's nowhere to escape. There's nowhere you could hide
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. It's crazy. It's going to be very interesting. It's like if you know company, the idea of the company, it starts off with a birthday party for Bobby, and it's you're actually part of
Mhm.
the birthday party. I mean, you're coming into what's happening to it, so it's very exciting. It's very different for us to do, and I think it's going to be very very good. I'm ready. I'm ready for it to open.
I'm sure, and I'm sure the people who in the community who love going to community theater and whatnot. That is why. I mean, I think something like this is necessary because if you want to have one of the traditional, you want to go see Cats, you go to Broadway to see
Yeah.
Cats. You know, it's harder to emulate the job they could do with a $10 million set in a local theater. You want to put on great theater production. This is what you do. This is great.
Yeah.
And you have another event that is getting attention, the Laugh Lab. It's an improv comedy
Mhm.
series. I love this idea. So, what can audiences expect from those performances?
It's a lot of fun. We haven't done it. It's I want to say it's probably been 10 to 12 years before we had any kind of improv troupe or anything. And our director at the college said, why not do that and do something smaller? And we do a series of shows, and it's all students, and they're, I'm it's right along the lines of anybody who's going to know improv is going to know whose line is it anyway. So it's similar,
Right.
but it's all kinds of different improv games, and it's a lot of fun, and we've been selling out the shows, so it's been going very well. There's only two left in May, so get your tickets quick.
That's amazing.
And
For
it's
those
only
who don't
$10
realize,
to come
improv,
see them be funny.
it,
Yeah.
improv is all about it's all about you don't know, it's spontaneous, so you excuse me, I have a
Right.
little schmutz here on my shoulder. You don't know
It's okay.
what you're going to have, just like that.
Hmm. Yeah, right.
Somebody will respond differently depending, and your audience changes each time. Your audience changes, the whole show changes. No two
Oh yeah.
improv shows are the same. That's the cool thing. So
Yeah.
why do you think it's so important to provide that kind of an interactive, relaxed atmosphere for audiences? Is it just to show, hey, we're different. You got to come check us out.
I think so. We were trying to strive for that with having our entire season be in our smaller theater this year. And also, it's just, we're trying to have like a nice night out. Like, go laugh,
Mhm.
go enjoy yourself, like, be able to get out of the house and just go out and relax and have a good time instead of the stresses of the day or work or anything, the world of itself right now, you know? So we just want people to have
Absolutely.
fun. Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to be, right? It's about escape. Just
Yeah.
go away and you could put your mind to
Yeah.
tune out the
Yeah,
universe for a
absolutely.
moment. So,
Yep.
and you're also hosting Cabaret Cafe Broadway night.
Hmm.
So for those who
Yeah.
just want a little taste of musical theater, a little taste of Broadway, where they got little dribs
Mhm.
and drabs of cool stuff from Broadway.
Yeah, so that's what it is. We did two others earlier in the season. We did a jazz night with one of our alumni, and we did a swing night just recently with one of our actually three of our professors at the college, which turned out really great. And we almost sold out all of those. So this one we figured let's try a Broadway night because people love Broadway songs. So it's a collection of some students and alumni, and they're gonna each sing a couple of songs from Broadway. We'll have an MC, and there'll be some fun stuff going on in between.
It's great because the audience will probably sing along with that. Those are probably all tunes that everybody has heard,
I hope so.
and you just all sing together, yeah, and enjoy it.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
of course, I love the idea of the interactive '80s murder mystery. I love the '80s to Death, which is what
Mhm.
a cute title. A buddy of mine opened a murder mystery dinner theater down in Orlando, like miles away, miles, feet away from Universal,
Right.
and
Nice.
everybody told him he's crazy. He's, what are you doing? You're spending your money. People are going to Universal. They're not going to go to your dinner theater. Guess what? He sells that every night.
I
Every
bet he
night.
does.
because people come into town, they take the kids to Universal during the day, and the parents want to sit down and have dinner. It's a dinner theater murder mystery. He
Yeah,
has
that's
not
great.
had a night where he had extra tickets yet, and it's been about 9 or 10 months. Uh, and
Yeah.
I went down there not knowing what to expect, but it was packed. So this is amazing. People who don't realize this is a lot of fun. Talk about doing
Mhm.
an 80s murder mystery style thing, dinner theater night, if you will. That's not You're not doing dinner, but you're doing the theater.
No, no, no. We serve we have coffee, cake, and tea is what we serve with ours. And this is I think it's the fourth or fifth murderissery we've done with this company, and it's just amazing. And people love it, and it's just so much fun. We've sold out every single one we've done. And the 80s is just, I mean, I feel like we see it coming back more and more with the way people are dressing and stuff.
Yep.
So it's great because people come dressed up. They're very involved. The more crazy you dress and the more you're in it, the more you could be a suspect or involved in the whole thing. So it's a really fun night.
I love it. What is a website so people can get tickets or more information?
So our website is it's going to be at Brookdale Community College. So it's www.brookdale.cc, and you could go right to that website, and it'll take you to every single event we're doing, and it'll have a link for tickets right on the website right there for each event.
I love it. I'm sure if people just Google Brookdale Performing Arts,
They
it'll
do.
probably take
Yeah.
them right
Yep.
there. All right.
Yep.
Brookdale Performing Arts Center on the main campus of Brookdale Community College in Lincroft. Sherry Vanderspiegel, the supervisor. Sherry, thanks for coming on this morning. May you have a very successful season.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time. Have a great day.
You bet. All our best to you. Thank you. And it is coming up on 8:58. That is on New Jersey Mornings for this Wednesday. I'm Ken Rosato. See you again tomorrow morning at 7.